We're talking like full 3 power level super ultra combo for you.
But I really like this Rammus pick against this kha'zix.
Yeah?
I think that is incredibly intelligent by MVP Ozone.
So basically, he jumps in and then immediately is stunned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very long CC. And we've seen more and more jungle Rammus here, all in Cloud Templar's hands currently, but they're actually going to pick up the Zed
I think
instead.
that's a good idea. I think it's a good idea to keep it away from Rolster B, but all right. Jarvan Zed. There we go.
They're going to give up that Jarvan again. And KT Rolster, very dangerous. We've seen them run kha'zix Zed before, and it was pretty devastating.
Yeah, people die very quickly then. Imp would not get away from that. All right,
and I think that's a good point. They're learning that. They just need to protect Imp, and if part of that is grabbing away that Zed pick. And Dade a good kha'zix player, so I assume he'll be absolutely fine on this Zed pickup as well.
I would imagine, yeah. I mean, Zed's kind of one of those champions that you really can't ignore right now. You need to have at least a little bit of Zed experience because he fits well into a lot of compositions. He's just good by himself, so no big shock there. Maybe Lulu? Will we see the Lulu pickup for Mappa?
Well, I'm curious as to whether Score is actually going to play MF and we're going to see one of the classics.
Yeah.
There we go, yeah.
And I believe it was Maffa who told me once that Lulu was his favorite champion. And I'm like, yeah, you and every other support. Me too.
He thinks Lulu is the best.
Now, Misfortune. That would be an interesting pickup with the Lulu. You know, she normally is paired with Sona when we see it, but Sona's banned. So they're going to try to do it with Lulu. And I guess if they have someone that can kind of engage and get wild growth and kind of keep everybody in one place, then bullet time can work. But it seems a bit odd, doesn't it? A little bit risky, I think, with that Misfortune pickup.
We'll have to see how it works out.
Here we go again. Or not.
Yeah, they don't really need the Vayne this time around. They can go with the Varus pick again because that allows them even more CC.
Yep.
And that's going to give Dade more time on Zed, but they may decide to go for it anyway. Personally, I think the Varus pick is a little safer.
Yeah.
But naturally, with his abilities, Imp.
Feeling a little bit confident after that game, that's for sure. Not surprised. So, the final 2 picks coming in for KT Rolster B. Looks like even the game doesn't want them to be sure about that Misfortune pick, man.
Well, Misfortune's going to be really hard to play against. What MVP Ozone has already selected. Now, Score really going to rely on his positioning. He has to stay out of slicing Maelstrom.
You know, Ozone doesn't really, you know, aside from Kennen, they don't really have anyone that can get onto Misfortune and stop that bullet time.
Well, they can just kill her with Zed.
That's the thing. But, are we going back to Curse of the Sad bullet time, guys?
Well, we know that Insect is an amazing Amumu player.
We do know that. That's true.
And actually, Someday might be playing top lane kha'zix in this situation.
Yeah.
And Ryu might default to one of his favorite champions, which is Diana in the mid lane. And they're going to have so much engage. Actually, this is a really good composition, Noah.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And there's the lock, and they're going with it now.
Curse of the Sad bullet time. Where have you been?
It's back, man. Oh, Blitzcrank, please. Yes, I would love that. I would be so happy.
I actually don't like the Blitz pick with this composition.
I don't care. I want it. Oh, well, at least they're going to listen to Monte Cristo and pick up Zyra. Oh, well.
I think that's a much smarter choice.
Well, smarter, more entertaining. It's tough. And it looks like we're going to see a top lane Diana. Now, we did see Flame on CJ Blaze play an amazing top lane Diana last week. So,
and this also introduces a new problem, actually, Noah, which is now KT Rolster B has 3 players that can play Diana.
Yeah.
So now you definitely don't know where. You know, we've seen Rio play her a lot. We've seen Insect play her to great effect, and now we're seeing Someday play it. Very impressive.
Well, Diana kind of fits in a lot of places. So there's the top lane, Diana versus Kennen, Someday versus Ulm. Down in the jungle, we have Insect playing Amumu, going up against Dandy, playing Jarvan the 4th. Jarvan wants to put Amumu back in the tomb. So we're going to call Cataclysm this time.
The tomb.
It's the sarcophagus with the tomb. I don't know. Either one. Maybe it's going to be pyramid shaped or something. Ryu playing kha'zix versus Dade playing Zed in that mid lane. Assassin Fest in the mid lane. who's going to assassin harder.
It's a classic matchup here in Korea now. kha'zix
right.
versus Zed.
Oh, yeah. They love their assassins here, that's for sure. Down at the AD carry spot. Score playing Misfortune versus Imp playing Vayne. We'll see if Imp can recreate his stellar game from game number 2. Mafa on Lulu's going to try to say no to that, but Mata on Zyra is going to try to keep him alive. So that is it, our matchups. And here we go, guys. Game number 3, the tiebreaker between KT Rolster B and MVP Ozone. Let's get in the game. Rolster B versus MVP Ozone. Our third game in this possible 5 that we may see today. And remember, if we do get to that 5th game, we do get to see Blind Vic. And Dade just showing a joke to Insect. Insect laughing. He's fine with it. He's like, oh, this is pretty cool. Actually, it's probably just sad because he doesn't have a shadow friend.
And here the problem with picking a Mumu if you're KT Rolster B is we know they have a bad level 1.
Yeah.
And they have a worse level 1. Oh, he didn't hit it, but they're still there.
Yes, they are indeed. Maffa taking a lot of damage. Turns the exhaust. Can they get the first blood? It looks like they can. Oh no. KT Rolster B losing the first blood immediately goes to Dandy, and that's going to make him even scarier in the early stages of the game. Just like you said, Monte Cristo. Monte Cristodamus again.
KT Rolster B is just, they're like the worst level 1 team in Champions, and it's so perplexing because in every other way, they are quite good, and Dandy just going to start out with a Razor, and this is going to allow him to counter jungle like an absolute monster.
Yeah.
This actually is going to make Insect's life hell.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. We've got a Mumu starting out against a Jarvan with the Razor, immediately level 1. So
certainly a rough position to be in.
Good luck, Insect. They're going to have to babysit him a little bit.
They are, and fortunately Someday has a teleport up, so they may be able to respond. But the problem there was that Mafa did glitter lance that brush. He did the right thing. Unfortunately, it was just like a split second too early, so that the members of MVP Ozone were in the brush, but they were around the corner, so it didn't actually land.
It was just bad luck
for
KT. I mean, really, he glitter lanced at the right time, too. I mean, there was nothing wrong with that. You didn't want to get any closer before you throw that glitter lance in there if you're a Lulu doing a bit of an invade. So, yeah, I mean, really, KT didn't really do anything wrong there. Just kind of bad luck. But that's how it happens. That's what happens. And it seems to happen to KT quite a bit more than other teams, too.
Interestingly, Dade actually starting Elixir of Fortitude, which this is patch 3.6, so that item a little bit riskier than it used to be.
Yeah.
I find that quite curious.
And Zen really isn't like the biggest early pushing champ per se.
No, so, but what they want in this situation is they want to really abuse Ryu. Ryu is terrifying on kha'zix. We know this from 2 seasons of Champions where kha'zix has been in play. And so if they can get an early gank from Jarvan, it's going to be very effective at shutting down kha'zix early. But it is kind of a gamble. And again, that just says that their priority is just getting imp-fed, and they're going to be able to cut. They're trying to cut some corners in this mid lane in order to keep Ryu down, possibly.
We'll see if it works out. So right now, we do see that typical Korean lane swap. The top laners going up against the duo laners. In Korea, I mean, there's so many lane swaps, it's almost difficult to call them top laners, bottom laners, and all that anymore.
Just call them tops and duos.
It's so flexible,
That's the effect. And look at Dandy, already pulling out a bunch of wards with his gold that he's managed to accrue.
I like that.
And so he's just getting this massive vision advantage already for his teammates. Very smart guy. He's dropping that. Oh, he didn't drop the vision ward there at Dragon. He's going to check on it and head back up.
Yep.
Insect going to have a very slow jungle here and not be much of a threat for a while. He's having to stay in lane for quite a chunk of time up here in top just to prevent the turret from going down.
Yeah. Now Dade did pop his flask already.
Yeah, I don't know how well this is going to pay off in the long run. I'm really curious.
Trying to go in now, but pre-6 it's really, really tough.
You know, I actually do like this a lot on Zed, and the reason why is because what is kha'zix going to do?
Oh, Insect gets condemned against the edge of the wall. Oh, man, that was a close one. Barely clipping the edge of that tree.
I didn't even know you could condemn right there, Noah.
I didn't even know that either. I think it was just the very edge of it.
But I promise you that Imp knows you can condemn right there.
Probably, yeah, man. He knows everything you can do with Bane.
So why I like this Elixir of Fortitude start is that...
Oh, here comes home. They're going to come in on score. Mata coming down as well. Or Mafa, rather. So they're going to be fine.
Basically, you know kha'zix with the Crystalline Flask start is not going to be much of a threat, and he's going to get a fast tier. So he's not really going to have a lot of combat stats either.
Yeah.
So getting behind really doesn't matter, and you give yourself a good chance to win a harassment battle, to get up in CS, which he has already done. kha'zix does tend to lose CS 3-6 and then catch up once he gets that evolved spike rack. But you're not going to fall behind in terms of itemization or damage, really, if kha'zix opts for that tier first build.
That's a really good point, actually, yeah. Oh, Dada, I really like that. Using his Living Shadow to get one last little bit of poke damage against Ryu before he goes back. Do a lot of fun tricks with Zed. Definitely one of my favorite champions about the last, like, half year or so.
Well, I mean, this is generally just going to be a slower paced game. If we look at the team compositions from both of these teams, we have Insect, who's not going to be able to make very many plays pre-6 and doesn't want to. KT Rolster probably doesn't even want to fight until they can get a reset on Ryu because they're so dependent on him to finish off and have that evolved E. So they're going to try and delay this out as long as possible. Yeah. Now, MVP Ozone, Imp's happy farming there up in that lane.
Oh, man. Just doing tons of damage to Insect as well. Imp already trading really nicely. You know, I feel like they should give Zed like a Maokai skin because he wants to blend into the forest, right? He's got to be a good ninja. So give him a skin that kind of looks like Maokai, just to trick people.
It's like the opposite of that. Definitely not Blitzcrank skin.
That's right, yeah. Definitely not Maokai. I like it. Another great skin idea from Doan Monster.
Feel free to use them.
Trademark.
I guess Noah and I have different intellectual property.
Well, I mean,
opinions.
It's okay. I'll relinquish it. It's fine. Untrademarked.
All right. Well, yeah, this is, in general, this is just going to be a longer farming game. That's just the way it's going to go until the mid-game when we see these guys getting up there. There's not going to be a lot of action. KT Rolster B will have a very nice timing in the mid-game before Imp gets into late-game Vayne status, where they're going to be able to teamfight very effectively with their ultimates. And so KT Rolster B will have a power spike probably around 17 or 18 minutes.
Yep.
It really depends on how fast Ryu can get that level 11. That's the big determining factor right here.
He's trying to get as fast as possible, making it as fast as possible. Look at this early Dragon coming in from MVP Ozone. Going for it, and it looks like they will get it pretty cleanly. No vision there. Yeah.
This is a really smart.
Oh, well.
This is a very smart play at Dragon, even though the dual lane's down there.
Oh, there's bullet time over the top. They just barely don't get it, though. Man, if that had been a split second sooner, they may have been able to steal it.
So they have very low HP. Now, they may just sacrifice this turret for the Dragon.
I think that's going to be the result, yeah.
Kind of an awkward trade, but let's take a look at the HP on this turret and see. Yeah, they probably would have just figured that it was going to go down anyway, so they might as well take the risk. And since they saw Insect there up in the top lane, they knew that smite wasn't anywhere nearby. And so instead, really...
Imp and Dade coming in, forcing a flash immediately from score. And there's a W flash from Dade. Can he catch him with the death mark? They're going to go on to Lulu, getting him near instantly. Imp having to run, but he gets away. Someday teleporting down as well. Dade in trouble. Gets pulled in with the moonfall. Dade goes down. A 1-for-1.
And here's the ult from Ryu. There's a voice spike. And he gets the Hex Drinker up right there. But will he actually get a barrier?
Oh, not enough.
And they lose the turret as well. So great rotation there from KT Rolster B. And I'm really not sure if that Dragon ended up being worth it. There's a pause.
There's a pause, all right. Well, let's see. Imp's like, wait a second, I'm supposed to escape from everything. Something must be wrong. He's like, oh yeah, the game glitched, I died. Score's like, no, that happens every once in a while. It doesn't happen to me much either. But
So this Hex Drinker first build, really interesting on Imp. I'm very curious about that, looking like he just wanted to avoid the Crescent Strike harass up there in the top lane. Imp actually has left the game.
Huh, okay. So something needing to be fixed with his computer or his account or something like that. So we'll see if the login helps again. Now, overall, the game very, very even right now. A turret advantage for KT, and I feel like that last little skirmish we saw was kind of a little bit of a turning point in the game.
Yeah, MVP Ozone still in the lead, but right there, they really put a lot of eggs in the dragon basket.
Yeah.
And in order to...
Dragon eggs.
Dragon eggs. We know how those turn out in Game of Thrones.
It's true.
Well, anyway.
They turn into dragons.
I know. And then you can trade them for slave armies.
I'm just trying to distract you as long as possible, Parrot, right now. No, go ahead. Say something useful, actually. I'm done. I'm done distracting you.
So, right in that situation, when you go for the dragon and you get so low and you're in a lane swap situation where there's that duo in bot, they may have just decided to sacrifice that turret for the dragon, but in the end, they actually decided to overplay a little bit on defending that turret. They should have just let it go down if they were going to make that trade, because the rotation from everyone coming in and Dade and him just both dying in that situation kind of needlessly, when they could have just backed off after taking that dragon and accepted the fact that they were going to lose their turret in response.
Well, it definitely wasn't worth it to only get Mafa, I would say. Even as threatening as Lulu is, you don't want to give up 2 champions to kill her.
Yeah. So, but not a game-ending error by
not at all.
By any means.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, we're still in the infancy of this game. It really could go either way. InSec on your screen, consulting his team right now, no doubt, thinking about how they can get some sick Curse of the Sad bullet times off later in the game. He's like, so here's the plan. I'll just flash in and use my ultimate. And let's take a replay here. Let's check this out.
Yeah, trying to go in and score him off, is smart to back off immediately with the flash and the whimsy.
Yeah.
And Dade's pursuit there, really hard pursuit with the flash. Able to get that death mark down, but then it's wasted. You could already see InSec had gone back, and the teleport, not respecting the teleport. Now someday...
Oh, he misses the Crescent
that
Strike.
was actually a pretty big miss right there. And Dade did a real nice juke at the end, putting Shadow, but not ultimately enough. Ryu with coming in with the ults as well.
A little bit of a shield from that Hex Drinker, and then the barrier on top of it, but it's not enough. Oh, the Hex Drinker shield just ending at the very last moment. And Ryu was probably waiting for that too.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Could just kind of chase him all day. And there he is, Ryu the man himself. Killer of Imp.
The bug.
That's right.
The legend.
The man, the bug, the legend. The Bugman legend. Sounds like Spider-Man.
Spider-Man doesn't have anything on kha'zix.
Although he's not a bug. Spider-Man is an arachnid.
That's true. Well,
because spiders are arachnids, not insects.
Does that technically make, is he more man or arachnid?
He is more man than arachnid.
Okay.
That's right, I would say. Because he still has the same number of limbs, right? He can just like stick to things and shoot webs and stuff, right? So
kha'zix would totally take Spider-Man down.
I don't know. I'm not so sure, because kha'zix jumps once, Spider-Man dodges, and he doesn't get the reset.
But then kha'zix just shoots him with missiles.
I guess so. The void spikes a little bit. But what if Spider-Man just catches the missiles, and then he swings it around and hits kha'zix with the other missile? I mean, we all saw how Macho Man Randy Savage did not do too well against Spider-Man. And although Macho Man Randy Savage, maybe he's closer to Rengar, I guess, in kha'zix a little bit. But either way, I mean.
So I'm not actually sure what's going on. We have no idea what's happening with Imp's computer right now.
But that's okay, because we can talk all day, guys. If there's one thing we're good at, it's talking. About League of Legends, about really anything. History, dinosaurs, art.
Yeah.
See any good art lately?
I have not seen any arts recently.
It's too bad, man. Yeah. Although I would say not a lot's been done since the Middle Ages.
That's your opinion?
That's my opinion.
Oh,
I'm a Renaissance man.
Medieval art?
Well, I guess I'll say Middle Ages is a bit too far back. Well, I mean, if you go to Giotto in the very early Renaissance, kind of the end of the... That's close enough, but... That's enough about that. Enough about Doa's art love. Although I'm sure a lot of people out there share my belief, share my love of art.
I do, for sure.
I'm sure. Yeah. A lot of good fan art, actually, in League of Legends. But, yeah. Anyway, do you have something to say about the game?
Yeah, you know,
oh, good.
It's
good.
MVP Ozone, like, this composition, I'm really kind of surprised that KT Rolster B allowed them to have this Ken and Jarvan combination again, because it was so effective last game. And now that they don't have the Karthus, they're not as dependent on actually getting in there. But I have to admit, I am a little bit concerned with Insect's ability to engage. If he's stunned before he can bandage toss in, it's going to be really bad.
I mean, Dandy as well. I mean, you can always come over a wall, Cataclysm, immediately just keep Insect out of the fight 100%. There's a lot of ways that Ozone can handle this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really about who engages first, honestly, in these team compositions, because but the other side of that is that if Someday can get in with a good Moonfall and Insect can follow it up with a Curse of the Sad Mummy and then Bullet Time comes over the top before they can actually pop the Ulmer or Dandy, the Jarvan, or Kennen ultimates, like there's going to be nothing they can do. They're going to be bursting so low instantly that even if they get those ults up afterwards, it just simply won't matter.
It really seems like right now Ozone's main objective in this game should just be to not die, you know? As long as they can avoid feeding Ryu early, especially Ryu. I mean, to a certain extent, the whole team, but especially if you can keep the kills off of kha'zix, you're going to have so much better of a chance later on, because if you don't have a fed kha'zix, then suddenly Curse of the Sad Bullet Time is survivable. Yeah, you're going to take a lot of damage, but if you don't have kha'zix, getting the damage to get all those resets. So really, I mean, that kill that Ryu got is a big deal, and they need to make sure that that doesn't happen much anymore.
Yeah, and in terms of where these team fights happen, that's also very interesting, because actually KT Rolster B is going to really want to fight in the jungle. And MVP Ozone is really not going to want to fight in the jungle. And the reason that is because Someday and Insect can make it, they can engage over walls where can't.
Yeah.
So if they can get over a wall and then have the bullet time go off and then have kha'zix come over the top, they actually have a really, really, really substantial advantage. So if KT Rolster B wants to win this game, their best bet is to do some heavy warding of their opponent's jungles and then try and engage over walls. Like, that is going to be the perfect optimum way for KT Rolster B to handle these team fights.
You know, on the other side, it seems like Ozone would want to fight, you know, obviously not in the jungle, but maybe right on the edge of it. If they can force a situation where they can catch Rolster B coming out of the jungle, that's going to be a great opportunity for a Cataclysm to completely split the team, take some people out in the lane, and then as everyone retreats to the jungle, then you can take objectives, chase if you need to. So it's kind of interesting, because usually you see one or the other, either lane or jungle, but I feel like Ozone really wants to, or Rolster B rather, or no, I am talking about Ozone. I don't know what's going on. The Ozone really wants to fight on the edge, you know?
Yeah, they do have some really good opportunity for terrain blocking or choking at a bottleneck. And because the bottleneck is really good for Ozone, because you really want Imp to have free reign to kite and maneuver as necessary. So if you fight in a bottleneck like what you're talking about, then Imp is going to be able to position very well with Vayne and deal with anyone who gets through. Right. Now, of course, if you're playing Vayne in the jungle, you have the opportunity to condemn, but without that freedom of movement, you're really going to have a lot of problems.
Well, again, I mean, on the edge of the jungle, too, you have the opportunity to condemn people back into the wall as they exit the jungle, too. And I feel like, too, when you're trying to force team movements in a game, if somebody knows that they don't want to go into lane, and they know that they don't want to go into the jungle, where are they going to be? They're going to be right on the edge. You know, they're going to be kind of going a little bit in and out. So in terms of where Ozone wants to fight, it seems like it's going to be easier to force a fight on the edge of the lane jungle area than one or the other. So that, I actually kind of like the theory behind that. I wonder if that's something that's consciously planned by other teams with other compositions, too, to kind of fight in that middle ground area.
Well, we are back in the game
we're back
now.
in the game. Great.
We just got back in.
Awesome.
So hopefully everything has been fixed.
Looks like they're kind of...
For our MVP Ozone players. I don't know what they're doing right now.
Well, they may be just playing it out, letting them play a couple seconds before they go back in. But now we're back in the game, guys. It is time. Hopefully they turn the lights off above us and actually see monitors. There we go. All right. Now we are ready. So, where were we, guys? Well, Dandy's not a mid laner. He's trying to trick us, but he's actually the jungler.
Just taking some lane tax, you know, like you do.
Exactly. The lane tax.
Insect, one of the kings of lane tax.
That's right.
He's got the highest tithing rate
Right.
of junglers in Korea.
Yep. It's the IRS, the Insect Revenue Service.
I love it. So Imp getting a lot of free lane farm again, and this didn't really work out for KT Rolster B last game. Every time they saw him getting a free lane, an empty lane to farm, they were sending Someday to try and duel him with disastrous results. And so they have to be very careful right here, and I'm curious as to whether their strategy is just going to be to let him have it and then not engage him, or to send multiple people in order to deal with the situation.
Yeah. Now, if you look at Vayne in this game, she's got that skin that has kind of the hat with the little feathers on it. They kind of look like antenna, though. So I think what Imp is going for in terms of survivability is to disguise himself as a fellow bug, and then Ryu won't want to jump on it. It's very smart, actually.
It is. It's a counter skin.
Just wait till you see it.
In League of Legends.
Yeah, counter skins. It's all part of the plan.
Well, Someday going to clear out this ward with his own vision ward of his own. I think this is smart. They need to just keep getting towers. And Insect coming in right now, but as we speak, Dade rotating up from mid.
Right, yeah, they're not going to really want to fight this.
Yeah, they see him with that ward right there in the tri-brush, so they're going to be able to be quite safe.
Ooh,
but they just
Ryu coming up too.
They really want to put the pressure on this top lane turret and use the damage.
Oh, they're going to jump in now. Omen, big trouble. Tries to get away, tries to live with the slicing Maelstrom. Oh, he escapes. Oh my gosh, and Ignite barely doesn't take out Someday. Oh, but here come Dandy and Dade. They want to clean this up, but will they be able to catch him? Doesn't look like it. I think Someday's just going to barely escape. Yeah, he does get away. Close call for both sides, but everybody lives. It's a happy ending for everyone.
And in the meantime, Imp just going to wherever there is that empty lane farm just so he can get up. He's still just a little bit behind score in terms of CS, but that's going to change quite rapidly. And instead, really KT Rolster B over-committing to that gank up in the top lane. And there's a very limited window where they could actually kill
Yeah.
They managed to hold him there with Curse of the Sad Mummy, but once that was up, really allowed him to get that stun down quite quickly.
Well, and to a certain extent, the stuns from Ken and 2 does kind of counteract a bit of the stun from Curse of the Sad Mummy, too. So in terms of time where champions can't do anything, it's going to be about the same when those two ults kind of overlap against each other.
The big difference is the AoE damage from Score versus the hyper carry single target damage from Imp.
Yeah.
This game is really all about these two AD carries and who can have their way in a team fight. Different strategies and philosophies in terms of the AD carry, so it's always nice to see it when we have two teams with quite different objectives in mind coming into a team fight.
Almost looks like a Mumu and Kennen wearing the same thing in this game. Monte Cristo doesn't agree.
I mean, I wish there was like a ninja mummy skin. That would be the absolute best.
I feel like that had to be part of an 80s cartoon at some point. There was ninja everything back then.
It was indeed. Let's take a look at him right now.
Oh, have a void spike.
Gonna get delayed a bit. He is now pulling ahead in CS, as you can see, so it's pretty obvious where this empty lane farm is going.
Yeah.
And KT Rolster is allowing it to happen pretty much. They're not trying to set up any kind of picks yet. They just got that level 11 on Ryu, so now is a great time actually for them to team fight. This is a really good opportunity for them because they do have the reset, they have the bullet time. We see the Bloodthirster already completed onto MF, so she's going to be able to deal a big damage, and this is what they want actually.
Yeah.
Someday has his teleport up. I really think KT Rolster B has a good chance here at this dragon fight.
Well, we'll see if they decide to take it. Someday could come down. We're going to have to watch for that teleport. The dragon attempt is going on. Here comes Insect with the Curse of Sad Mummy. Not a lot of support. Bolton coming in a bit late. There's the Cataclysm Trap score, but not enough damage coming in there. Someday gets Wild Growth. They're going to chase after home. Nice Whimsy there. A double kill, though, coming in from Score. Imp flashes over the wall. Dade trying to get away as well. Right now, it's 1 for 3 in favor of KT Rolster B. Nice engage there. They did punish MVP Ozone for that dragon big time.
I think that KT Rolster B's composition has a very clear timing, Noah, and it was a big mistake for MVP Ozone to think that they could get away with
Dade!
Ooh. You know, it was just perfect timing, absolutely perfect timing for KT Rolster B. And so with that, they will take a 1,000 gold lead when we had been pretty much deadlocked earlier.
And they're going to be able to get the Dragon, too. MVP Ozone weren't able to finish it off.
Man, that was just such a smart play by KT Rolster B. They knew exactly when they could fight with this team composition, and they punished MVP Ozone so hard. That was
not taking it.
That was just a major timing mistake.
I was a little bit worried. It seemed like Insect came in with the Curse of the Sad Mummy a little bit early, but they were able to get in there. I mean, Score got himself a great positioning on bullet time. Well, it all worked out.
Yeah, they won the fight anyway. That's the scary thing about it.
That is the scary part.
The Curse of the Sad Mummy was there to prevent them from actually finishing Dragon. So basically what happened there is that KT Rolster B engaged that very perfectly. And the reason was, it wasn't an optimal Curse of the Sad all time for a team fight, but it was optimal for both preventing a Dragon and winning a team fight. And that's what they did there. So I really like that play.
Good deal.
Because if you look at sure, they lost someone, maybe because they didn't catch as many people or they used that Curse of the Sad Mummy early, but if they can actually take the Dragon off of this too, they'll have a big net win on their hands. So.
Oh yeah. We'll see if they can get it. Oh, there's Bandage Toss on the Dade. They're going to try to trap him there. Dade gets away with that Living Shadow. No trouble there. Zed is tough to catch, sure.
And they've actually waited out all their ults going. So that was the timing KT Rolster B was
look at where Insect
for.
is. Look at where Insect is. He's waiting. There it is. There it is. Is he going to pull Sad Mummy? There it is. And Score coming in. There's the full time over the top. Zyra ultimate not hitting a whole lot. And Ryu chasing people back. Has to use it to get away, though. Imp able to get that double kill. Someday coming in. Oh, the tumble doesn't save him. And a double kill again for Score. So Score just able to win that 80 carry fight. I think I hit a record number for saying there it is in that last fight. I just kept waiting for it to be there, and
there it is, the Dragon.
The Dragon's still there, yeah.
So KT Rolster B, but they honestly, the thing about KT Rolster B's composition is they can continue to have these windows of time where they can force these fights again and again and again. And gradually, they're just going to get more and more of a gold lead.
Right. I mean,
MVP Ozone, they just need to leave this Dragon alone. Like, they've now lost 2 team fights in a row at Dragon. And it's still up. The Immortal Dragon. He's like,
I'm still here.
Both these teams, they want me so badly.
That's right.
They're like the prettiest girl in school.
Dovahkiin's like face palming so hard right now. Gosh, just one Dragon, guys. Come on. Usuro-Ja, it's done.
That's right. Dragons, their secret weakness is shouting.
That's right. They react poorly to harsh language.
All right, well, MVP Ozone has a bit of a time here to actually take this without the ult up. So this is a smart play. I don't think KT Rolster B should engage this or can engage it, and they will not engage it.
That's right. Insect being very brave. Brave Mummy. So, gold's basically dead even right now. Turret's a little bit in KT Rolster B's favor, but yeah, you really got to look at the 80 carries here. And Score doing a little bit better. Not hugely better, though. I mean, Imp's still the same on CS, basically. 3-2-1 as opposed to 5-0-2. So obviously Score a little bit ahead in that category, but not hugely ahead. So this is a really interesting game, actually. This could still definitely go either way, and I feel like already MVP Ozone has proven themselves to be much more of a force to be reckoned with, and I think a lot of people gave them credit for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem is that with Score being so fed, MVP Ozone doesn't really have a lot of armor right now. Yeah. And you can see really just the Seeker's Arm Guard and the Ninja Tabby being their only defensive items against a fed Score who's going to be AoEing them with Last Whisper. Yeah. Now that's going to cause just tremendous damage to them. And Ninja Tabby not only cutting down the damage from those auto attacks, and now Dade going on to Someday with the death mark.
So they're going to try, but here comes Ryu to try to mix things up again. Oh, they're going to get Dade. Someday saved with that wild growth from Lulu.
Really nice play there to react to that attempt by Dade.
There he is, a bit frustrated on your screen right now. Can't blame him. He picked a kind of high health target, though. It's going to be tough to take him down.
Yeah, someday also, you know, I like the fact that a lot of these Dianas are going for this Zhonya's first again. We saw this kind of Stara style with the Stinger Nashor's Tooth where you rely a lot on your ability to auto-attack, but now in Korea, the standard build is just 100% the Season 2 build, which is Zhonya's and Abyssal Scepter and then Guardian Angel. Yeah. And it gives you so much survivability that you can get down enough damage in fights anyway, and you're mostly just setting up.
There it is, all going on top of each other. A great full time over the top though, but is it enough? Rolster B looking pretty good health-wise. There goes Ryu into the middle of everything, gets condemned against the wall though. Can they pick him off before he takes part of the team? A double kill before he goes out. A triple kill for Imp though. He's not done yet maybe. Dade coming out score. And there it is. An ace for MVP Ozone on the back of a triple kill from Imp.
Well,
Imp is back,
MVP Ozone right back into this game. They got the ace. They're still down in gold now.
Really good slicing Maelstrom to start that out.
Also, Insect did not hit a particularly good Curse of the Sad Mummy. There was a great Moonfall from Someday, but he only hit Curse on the very outside rim of the champions that had been Moonfall, so nowhere near as good of an engage as it could be. And the fact that Imp wasn't there actually worked to MVP Ozone's benefit.
Totally,
because KT Rolster B is all about that wombo combo with score.
Check out that replay.
And if you don't hit everybody, it's going to be very problematic. So here we go. You can see. Yeah, they only hit 2 people really with that, with the Curse of the Sad Mummy, and then frankly, not enough people getting involved in the damage from the bullet time either. And so when you're in a situation with Score's build, you know, Score, he doesn't have Berserker's Reach. He has level 1 boots, a Bloodthirster, and a Last Whisper going into that fight. So if he doesn't do a truly epic amount of damage with bullet time, he's not going to be doing anywhere near the same amount of single target auto damage that Vayne is.
Oh yeah.
With the Zerker's Greaves, with the Blade of the Ruined King, you know, everything that she has. So KT Rolster B has to pick their battles very, very carefully. And that was just an overcommitment underneath the turret by this team.
Yeah. What a huge statement it would be for MVP Ozone to go up 2-1 against Rolster B. And although we do see that turret, there is a decent turret advantage right now for Rolster B. They've got to be sweating just a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, they're still in a good position. They've got the kills on the right people. Pretty much all of them onto Ryu and Score.
Right.
So they've split up the damage in the gold nicely. Ryu actually has to ult in order to get out of this situation.
Yeah, they'd be able to completely, though. Ryu in trouble. Yeah, Dade taking the easy 1v1 there.
And Ryu looking a little bit upset right there.
He's died a lot this game. He's died 4 times already, which is a bit more than you see sometimes.
Well, Imp gonna come here and put some pressure on this Someday, and he actually gets condemned right there into a wall.
Yeah, saw it on the mini-map. I believe it to be true.
So MVP Ozone definitely on the offensive right now. They're in a very shaky position though, because if they push too far forward or they get too deep in the jungle, KT Rolster B's composition is really perfect for those jungle battles.
Yeah.
They have to be very careful.
You want that rumble in the jungle. Mata wants to steal that blue buff. Can he get it? Throws the ward over the wall, but I don't think the roots can reach that far. He's not going to get it. Barely reaching in there, but nice try.
Someday picking up that blue buff, exactly what he needs right now. Yeah. And critically, Someday has the first Zhonya's. And not having one yet, we'll have to see if he actually picks one up. He needs to get one as soon as possible. He's probably going back to get it right now. And yeah, that's exactly it. But there was a bit of a time there where that would have been a huge advantage.
Yeah.
In a team fight, but it's all for naught.
Ryu's going ninja hunting here. No, he's not going to see him. Oh, Dade, death mark is up, and Ryu ults immediately, doesn't want to get caught. Dade just being patient. There's the death mark. He gets it on him. Ryu, though, jumping back in onto Dade. Look at the damage coming in this time. There's the ignite. Can they finish him off? Doesn't look like it. Someday just out of range of Crescent Strike, and Dade living shadows to get away. Ryu needs to be careful. It's pretty low on health. Here comes Insect, though. If he can hit a bandage toss, it's a little bit too far.
They can push this turret, though. That's the thing, is that Dade, by losing that duel, there's not really going to be a way that MVP Ozone can adequately defend this turret.
It was really smart by Ryu that we got back in the bushes, used the isolation buff, got the extra damage done on Dade.
Yeah. And they're going to take blue. They're not going to take the turret. Mafa picking up the blue buff, actually, and they're going to go for Dragon instead. Yeah, this is a safer play. They already flopped down that Vision Ward. They don't see anything, so good call by KT Rolster beat it. Once again, take the lead, and this game has really just been a seesaw.
Yeah.
And MVP Ozone playing so well this series.
This is really reminding me of our last season when we had CJ Frost versus, or CJ Entis versus Azubu Frost back when they were each a separate team.
And Dade and then Sek were together.
Yeah, that went to Game 5.
It did, and it was so close.
It was extremely
I
exciting.
really hope this does go to Game 5 because I love blind pick. And I know that MVP Ozone has some crazy strategies.
Oh, no doubt, yeah. And look at this, Ozone going for Baron.
And this is the danger. You have the double. You have the double blades of the Ruin King. You have to ward Baron in this situation.
In fact, there's the preemptive slice, and Maelstrom doesn't let Insect get in there. They do get it. Insect in trouble now. Ozone, they may be able to lose the slice from in the middle. And he takes some damage. Bulltype doesn't do anything, gets cut off immediately. And Rolster B just trying to kite backwards. They've got so many members of Ozone at low health, though. Oh, this is such a tenuous situation right now.
And they're trying. Ryu still running. He knows he can't actually engage into that no matter how low they are. And Olm gonna finish him off.
Oh, man. Nearly an ace. Ryu cannot engage despite the health. And now MVP Ozone with the Baron buff is going to reach him really quickly. They're going to be able to get this turret. Probably not much more, but
that was such a bad error by KT Rolster B. When you have a Vayne and a Zed on the enemy team with Blades of the Ruin King, you cannot, under any circumstances, leave that Baron unwarded because it will go down so fast.
Absolutely true. And I mean, I got to credit Olm as well. I mean, he had a great slicing Maelstrom to just zone out KT. Because Insect, if he would have gotten in there with Curse's Head Mummy,
Insect was also focused immediately. You see he gets stunned right here. He's never really in position. He flashes in too, but there's no one to curse. Then he gets out with the bandage, but he only manages to hit Olm with his ult. So a perfectly engineered fight there by MVP Ozone, preventing Insect from getting in. And that's what I was talking about earlier, during the pause. It all comes down to who gets to initiate first. In that situation, Olm had the advantage, completely cut out Insect, and there was no combo there for KT Rolster B.
It was perfect, man. Ozone split that up beautifully, and now Dade going in on Sunday here, trying to get another 1v1 kill, but Imp ready to roll in and finish the job. Is he going to get it? Oh, nice. Over the wall. Imp getting that kill.
And getting the flash, too.
That's right. Using that vision from the ward to be able to pick that one up. Very smart. And now they're going to pressure this here. Can Score do anything about it? Can KT Rolster B stop this push?
I really think they need to ban this Kennen if they want to continue in this series because it's caused them so much grief.
I think Imp may be on the verge of getting a Vayne ban against him too. He has just been too good 2 games in a row with Vayne. And Ozone has proven too that they can protect Vayne. They can protect Imp enough that if Imp can play a champion like this, he's going to get scary.
Yeah. Well, they did kind of beat him that triple kill in the one fight. KT Rolster B having a really hard time today in general in terms of play calls and making decisions about when to go into team fights in the late game.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because last season in the playoffs, we saw KT Rolster B get 3-0'd by Najin Sword. The big reason that happened was that we felt anyway that there was a lot of nerves involved, that the situation kind of overwhelmed them a bit. And I have to wonder a little bit if some of those nerve issues are still there.
Yeah.
Maybe not to the same extent, of course, and maybe they do have a lot more confidence against Ozone, but yeah, I feel like I may be detecting a little bit of uncertainty in terms of just the play from KT Rolster B overall in this series.
They definitely have not looked as crisp tonight as they did during the regular season. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, they still are a relatively new team in the scene. It's only their 2nd season. But they have just been so good in groups both seasons. It'd be a shame to see them, you know, lose 3-1 or something like that. I really want to see the game 5.
Me too.
Yeah. Here they come, walking right into that ward. Ryu lets them know with that Void Spikes. MVP Ozone there. Kind of one big roving gang squad right now. You do not want to get caught by them.
And they have such amazing vision right now, too.
Yeah.
KT Rolster B really not winning the vision wars this time around. And
no, not at all.
That's might well be their undoing right here. Like I said, they have that confidence. Very good at jungle fighting.
Well, I mean,
they do it well if they can manage to get the right engage.
I like to say it all the time, man. Wards are the most powerful item in the entire game.
Yeah, they certainly are.
Yeah, they mean more to victory and defeat than anything else you could buy. That's the truth. And Dade coming in on Sunday again. He's not going to be able to take him down, but he's trying to sustain that push just a little bit. I mean, Zed does have really, really good wave clear as well, so that is a nice little edge. All right, well.
The thing is, MVP Ozone can't really engage into turrets that are protected by MF and Amumu.
Yeah, that's the
if they try and dive, they're just going to die.
Well, Ryu's going to be able to clear waves so quickly as well, too. They can't really count on ever getting like a big minion wave to kind of go with or anything, too.
Yeah, they definitely can't dive turrets against KT Rolster B, so we may end up with a bit of a stall here.
Maybe a little bit, yeah. This is going to be one of those games that goes pretty long, and then it's finally going to be like one tiny error that ends up meaning the difference between life and death for these teams. Extremely tense.
Yeah, you can see him already picking up that QSS2 to try and deal with the CC.
Uh-oh, he's hiding the bush. Yeah, he has to evacuate that position. He's like, well, they didn't believe me that I was a bug with the skin, so I guess I have to stay away from Ryu after all.
Though KT Rolster B does have the advantage here in terms of the split push.
They do definitely have that, yeah.
Teleport, so they could get a positional advantage in terms of lanes.
Yeah.
And they haven't explored that very deeply yet because it seems like Dade's always there with a death mark to find whoever is in a solo lane by themselves.
Yeah. Man, this has been one of the closest games we've seen all season long.
Yeah, it's really close.
We've gone up to nearly 50K gold for both teams, and it's been going up evenly the entire game. It's so good, man. I mean, Ozone, even if they lose from here, is definitely proving that they deserve to be in the playoffs.
Yeah,
no doubt.
In this game, too, the goal difference might as well be 0 because it doesn't matter that KT Rolster B is 5K gold behind.
That's
because if they
now.
hit their combo, there's nothing that MVP Ozone is going to be able to do to live through that.
Yeah. And I mean, even just looking at items, too. At this point, 5K is really not as much as it is at like 10 minutes or something.
Of course, yeah. We're talking about 5% of like total game gold right now.
Exactly, yeah. I'll trust your math, because it's not good if I try to do math, it's like Lil Jon trying to do King Lear or something.
That's a great analogy.
Dade,
they forced a flash out, but they're getting engaged on from behind.
They'll try good Glitterland. Sunday coming in the middle, everything's good. Oh man, a great set of ultimates from Rolster B. Is it going to be enough? Zone is everywhere, and Dade going down very quickly here. Everyone's going to jump on a Cataclysm. So far, an advantage for Ozone. Someday on the run, and yeah, Ozone just gets that single target damage done. Goodbye, Mappa. Double kill again for him. And it just seems like Rolster B isn't capable of winning team fights. I thought that was actually a fairly good engage for them.
They were split up. The thing that MVP Ozone did right there was the split is actually best for them because they just need to avoid insect. Because if once the combo goes down, then there's no follow-up. So if they don't kill like 2 or 3 people immediately, the single target damage is going to be too great and pursue. And that's exactly what we saw. So I really like that play from Ozone to split up right there, try and get the flank in. And Dade really baited them out of position too because he went out and then he came back in right on score. So they think they have Dade. And this is good right now for KT Rolster. But the fact, look at this big arc that MVP Ozone is creating. Sure, you get Moonfall right there. Great Moonfall Wild Growth combination. But again, a really lackluster Curse of the Sad Mummy, and the Zonya's timing too prevented Olm from going down because he just Zonya's his way through that bullet time.
Yeah, man, Imp and Jarvan just have the greatest synergy ever because, I mean, she can just tumble in and out of that Cataclysm so easily like we saw in that fight. Really, really cool to see. And I mean, what do you do? I mean, if you're Rolster B after losing that fight, that's got to be really, really disheartening. when you feel like you have just a really good opportunity, everything doesn't go quite to plan, but it's not that bad. That's rough.
Yeah, a lot of this has just come down to Insec. It's very similar to the last game, Noah.
Yeah.
MVP Ozone doing an excellent, excellent job of preventing Insec from getting a good curse off.
Secret
just
Service
like
protecting President Imp.
That's right, and just like last game, Ryu could not engage on kha'zix because of how good the peel was and how good they were at preventing situations where he could actually get into the middle of their forces. And here we go, there's a teleport.
Oh, Dade in a bit of trouble here, pushing that mark down on some days. Okay, though. Here comes Zep in the background. Oh, are they going to be able to make this work, though? Imp tumbling in now, the damage has begun. And Ozone again, the cleanup through, led by Imp. Someday, stuck against the wall. Another double kill from Imp. Dandy chasing down Ryu. Jarvan squashes the bug, and there is another near ace from MVP Ozone. That's going to be an inhibitor, maybe even the game.
That was such a fantastic play from Dade because of the Living Shadow to survive and actually bait them back into his team. Insec actually totally airballed Curse of the Sad Mummy right there.
Oh, it's rough, and there goes the first Nexus turret. Not a lot of minions to back this up, but it doesn't matter. Second Nexus turret going down, and there it is, MVP